All right, thanks, Brandis. We spoke about the coming winter weather just a second ago, and the onset of winter also means growing concerns for Chicago's homeless population. The city of Chicago has been partnering with Hotel Julian downtown, paying for 175 rooms to house those experiencing homelessness amid the pandemic. Older People recently extended this partnership into February, but will that be enough? Tonight, as part of our Firsthand Living in Poverty series, we take a look at the state of homelessness across the city. And joining us to discuss this and more are Susan Reyna Guerrero, Executive Director of Covenant House, Illinois, a nonprofit organization serving youth ages 18 to 24 experiencing homelessness, and State Representative Lindsay LaPointe, who represents the northwest side of Chicago and is a part of the Illinois Housing Committee. Welcome both of you to Chicago tonight. Representative LaPointe, I'll start with you. We mentioned you're part of the Illinois Housing Committee. You've been having some meetings recently to address the problem of homelessness. What are the things you're talking about as it relates to homelessness in Chicago right now?
Thanks, Paris. And first of all, thanks for looking at this really important issue right as it is about to get colder in Chicago, which is a serious concern. So in the Housing Committee of the Illinois House, what we're actually looking at is the unprecedented opportunity we have with American Rescue Plan dollars at the state level. And we are trying to be very thoughtful about how we can invest those dollars to, and what's important to me and important to the committee is make some serious headway on medium-term issues, but also to make sure we are saving lives this winter and next winter. And with the current diminished emergency shelter bed capacity in the city of Chicago, that is a real concern. So we're looking at things like how do we save lives? And we're looking at things like how do we partner with hotels, much like the Hotel Julian, to get people in so they can get on a pathway to stability.
And I want to talk about the Hotel Julian in a second, but Susan Reyna Guerrero, we mentioned you run Covenant House for youth. Are you anticipating being at capacity this winter?
Unfortunately, we're slowly ramping up our programming. Once we're up at full capacity, we'll be able to take up to 40 youth. Right now, we're at 12 youth, and we're slowly ramping up. But we know the needs for homeless young people that are 18 to 24 are very different in terms of the developmentally appropriate programming and supports that they need. So that's why something like what we're doing really will help start to nudge away at the bigger issue. But we know there's a huge gap in resources available for young people that are homeless at this point.
And that's what I was going to ask you as a follow-up. But will there be enough beds for youth who need housing this winter?
Unfortunately, there isn't. We know that on any given night, there's anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 homeless young people. And what makes it very difficult to get a good number is that a lot of them may be on the streets or they are couch surfing or doubled up, and which means that, maybe they have a bed tonight, but they may not have a bed tomorrow. So we know that approximately in Chicago, there's anywhere from 200 to 375 beds that are dedicated to homeless young people, yet we know there's about 2,000 to 3,000. So there's always going to be a significant gap. That's why, the wonderful opportunity for the program that Representative LaPointe is talking about can provide some kind of stopgap, but there is the bigger issue of just responding to the overwhelming need in a way that responds to what young people need who are experiencing homelessness.
All right,
and that's something that we're trying to house.
Representative LaPointe, you mentioned the city's deal with Hotel Julian, 175 rooms a night. They're going to extend that into February. But as I understand, a lot of those rooms go vacant. So what's the problem here matching up homeless folks with those rooms that the city's paid for?
That's a great question. And I heard that when I was listening to city council proceedings, and it's troubling. So one of the big gaps is that on the ground outreach and making sure that our human service workers who might be employed by either the city or by nonprofit organizations come out to the neighborhoods and really meet people where they're at, build that relationship, and talk to them about getting into Hotel Julian. That's not happening as much as it should right now. And up here in Jefferson Park and Portage Park, where I live and represent, we have never had an adequate human service infrastructure, even before COVID. So now what my office does is a lot of outreach to the city to get them to come up to have conversations with people about Hotel Julian and then get them on a pathway into those vacant units because the city is paying for them and we have needs.
And Representative LaPointe, I'll stay with you here because the city's also spending $95 million in the current budget to address the issue of homelessness. in addition to the Hotel Julian, or maybe that includes some of that Hotel Julian money. Is that sufficient to deal with the problem this winter? Or this coming year?
Yeah. Bottom line is it's not. We have never fully resourced this system. And at this moment in time, our normal human service infrastructure has been rocked by the pandemic. We are seeing an uptick in visible homelessness around the whole city, and definitely in my area on the far northwest side, we see encampments. And so this moment calls for more investment, but it also calls for specific things that will keep people alive this winter.
And Susan Reyna Guerrero, you've said that homeless youth are often overlooked. I mean, when we think about the homeless population, we don't really address the youth population quite as much. Why is that? Why is there this gap here?
Well, I think the numbers are very hard to count. And if you look at big numbers, people get scared, to be quite honest. We do know that there's certain systems that contribute to the youth homeless population. Particularly know a lot of the youth that are homeless right now have exited the child welfare system. They're former foster children. They're exiting from hospitalization, so they have some mental health issues. They're leaving domestic violence situations within their homes. So it's a very complex problem that requires a comprehensive approach. So one, the problem is very big, but it is something that is very doable if we develop the programming that can respond to their needs. Young people are competing for shelter beds within the adult population, and that makes it very difficult for them to find a good match with the resources they need with the programming that's out there. So it's a very complex problem, but it is one that if we ramp up our resources that are dedicated to young people and we do better coordination, it is something that we can address and we can fix, but it's going to take a long time in coming. But we remain hopeful that it's possible.
And you also mentioned the fact that a lot of young people, as you said, are couch surfing. They're in a different home each night just based on where they can find a place to sleep. All right, we'll have to leave it there. Our thanks to Susan Reyna Guerrero and State Representative Lindsay LaPointe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paris.